What that have to do with climate change? We didn't talk about climate change at all. This is gonna be quite the election. Quite the election. Why are they showing fucking Baywatch commercial? But anyway, this is absolutely one of those debates where you watch it and you're like, okay, nobody's actually watching for like, oh, who's right on the facts, who's not right on the facts. It's just like, okay, Trump said something. Trump said something. It's probably awesome, whatever he said. Yeah, go after Kamala. Yeah. Then Kamala speaks, and then they're like, what a fucking liar. There's no way. She didn't do any of that stuff. Oh my god. She's so. Oh my god. She really has Trump derangement syndrome. Oh my god. That's how the right's looking at this debate. And then the left's looking at the debate like, Trump? Why would they ever vote for Trump? They're just not going to happen ever. So they're listening to Kamala and they're like, you go, girl. Yes, queen. Yes. And that's basically how that goes for when you're listening to Kamala Harris and you're not even really listening to the talking points. And the talking points are good. Don't get me wrong. The talking points are good. But most of it's like, yes, queen. Yeah, you go, girl. You go after that dictator piece of shit. Whoa. And that's basically how people watch this debate. All right, that is the end of my watch through of the presidential debate. I'm like an hour off, so it took me a while to get through it. Okay, so let's see if I even know how to talk about anything right now, because I am legitimately so very tired. So I don't even know. I should probably go to bed and then record this later. But I won't do that. We'll try to think through what I need to think through and start talking now. And then clip this end part. I'll make that in the video. But so Kamala, like, if you're only looking at this from okay, who said more facts than the other person, who actually promoted a vision for what they're going to do if they become president, I think Kamala Harris hands down beats Donald Trump in that department of actually saying, okay, we're going to do this thing, we're going to do this thing, we're going to do this thing, we're going to do this thing. And we need to not worry about the grievances. I'm going to be a president for all people. It doesn't matter who you are. She didn't lean into identity politics too much. She talked about bad sides of like Trump being, or trying to allude to Trump being racist, essentially. Yeah, so I think she did a very good job. And when the abortion stuff came up, she ran it home with destroying Donald Trump on that. Because Trump, he just doesn't have anything to say, because he's just like, oh, it's a states' rights issue. Pro-life people, be happy because I was able to get Roe v. Wade overturned, and now it's states' rights issue. And you know what? It's not going to happen. I'm not even going to get an abortion ban at my table, so it's not going to be a big deal. Even though, yeah, so he didn't say he'd veto it. I think J.D. Vance earlier said that he would, but it's just like, okay. So Donald Trump did not perform well in that debate. His talking points are the same literally every time. There are immigrants coming to our country, and the immigrants that are coming to our country, the illegals, are mostly criminals, and because they're mostly criminals, then they're causing bad things to happen in our country. Oh my god, the immigrants, they're so bad, we gotta deal with the border. But then, Kamala Harris attacks him on the bill that would have dealt with the border, and him shutting that down. And then Donald Trump doesn't address any criticism towards him, because he'll never address any criticism towards him. Donald Trump still thinks he won that election, or he still acts as if he believes he won that election. So you're just like, okay, what are we doing here? So, I said it before and I'll say it again. Whatever there is about Trump in your head is baked in. Nobody's moving an inch on their opinions about Trump. If you're ride or die for Trump, you're ride or die for Trump. If you don't like Trump, you're never going to start liking him more. That's just how that goes. So I don't know what Trump can possibly do to gain more voters, other than Kamala somehow being bad enough in her appeal or something comes out that's like, oh my god, this is so negative that I am going to vote either for Trump or not vote at all. And if you don't vote at all, then Kamala gets less votes, and then that means more leeway towards Trump. So I think that's like the only dial we really have, is how people's sentiment are around Kamala Harris. So it's a matter of how well can Kamala Harris distance herself from the Biden administration. That's kind of where we're at right now. Because, people where Biden's favorability was like in the toilet. So, people just don't like Joe Biden as a president, even if he did good policy stuff. And then Harris takes some of the good aspects of his policy decisions and runs on that, and then says, but we can do better from there, and we're going to be awesome, and And it's a very inspiring vision for the future of America. And then it's a matter of like, okay, how much can she actually execute on? How much can she actually get done? But then you're thinking about, in comparison, what the hell is Trump actually going to do? I don't know. If he is a strongman person, maybe he can end these wars. Would he end the wars in a good way, though? Like, when they brought up the fact of, do you want Ukraine to win the war? And then Kamala Harris fights back at him at like, Russia would have Kiev today if it were Trump in office. I have no clue what the case would be there, because if the invasion happened under Trump, and I don't know whether the invasion would happen under Trump, but if the invasion did happen under Trump, then your question is, would Trump have tried to end it as soon as possible? And as soon as possible would have probably been around the time that they did take over Kiev. So that's just what you're gonna have to deal with. I don't know, because we can't do alternative history here. So we just have to like look forward and be like, okay, what's actually gonna happen? So if Trump actually does a tariff regime, that's gonna be a problem. Like the 20% tariff idea on like literally everything, that literally just makes everything cost more for us. And he's probably not gonna make enough money through the tariffs to be able to counteract that and be like, oh, we don't have to have an income tax because we can do everything through tariffs. Is that true? I have no idea. Every economist I've looked at says, no, bad idea. So that's my sense. I need a better understanding of tariffs in order to make that conclusion. My understanding is that whenever you tariff stuff, that means that you're making the cost to buy the thing from the American consumer go up instead, because they'll shunt the cost off to the consumer. Because if they have to get the thing, they have to get the thing. If they can only get it from the foreign market, they'll get it from the foreign market. Or they'll find a way to skirt around the tariff entirely by getting it from some other market that got it from China or whatever the hell may be. So yeah, you could have stuff like that go on. And yeah, so I'm way too tired for this rant right now. But yeah, that's the issue. So Trump would do the tariffs? Probably. Maybe someone can convince him out of it. It's really a question of like, who can convince him once he's president that, oh, this idea is actually not that good, so let's do something else. Because that's basically what it's going to be like. It's going to be like, okay, who are the people around him making the decisions? Are there smart enough people around him to make sure that the right decisions can be made? And then he'll be such a bulwark to get that stuff done because he's such a strong man on things. So, it's entirely possible that you get some really interesting things happen with Trump. I don't think he's going to do the abortion ban. I don't even think it's going to come to his desk. IVF free for everyone. I have no clue whether he can even do that. So that's a different thing. He's like, I'm gonna be so good for the pro-choice people, like, or so good for women's reproductive rights, is something along the lines of what he said. I have no clue. I have no clue how much that shifts anything. I just don't know. I think it's baked in for Trump. So yeah, so you basically have to look and be like, okay, do I believe that Kamala's gonna push forward all these things that Biden administration probably would have pushed anyway? And she could shy away from some of the things that were a little less tenable. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. The unrealized capital gains tax is a stupid idea. It's not actually going to happen. There's some other tax policy things that I think wouldn't happen, but that's the first one that comes to mind. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the debate. I think it's still the same as before, where it's Kamala's to lose, and the talking points were exactly the same from both sides. There's nothing new that I learned from either of those two from this debate that I hadn't heard at the DNC or in Trump's many podcast appearances. many interviews and all that sort of thing. I think all of the stuff is still the same. He didn't talk about the reproductive rights stuff as much in this debate because I don't know. Is it the case that he's just like, oh, this is the thing that gets more viewership, so I need to make sure that it seems like I'm still kind of pro-life? Like I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I think that's all I have in terms of thoughts. So I hope you all enjoyed my random thoughts about things. And I couldn't watch the debate on stream because, you know, if you watch a debate on stream, then you get copyright hit. Watching the debate right now, oh my god, I just so dang tired. So I need to go to bed. That's what I should do right now. I'm not gonna do that after I end the stream. I know I'm gonna do something else, but yeah. So I'm gonna turn my tired face into a video. That video will get uploaded tomorrow because I'm not gonna get my writing done for my essay. So yeah, since this is gonna be the video, then like if you like, dislike if you dislike, leave a comment letting me know why you like or dislike, and I will see you all later. Bye. La 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 la. And we're out. Oh wait, shoot.